if you are an event planner, or if you are, even just being a mom or a wife or a woman, we are multitasking by nature. And so being a general contractor is really managing a project, managing an event, multitasking at its finest. And as far as success, I think I eat, breathe, and sleep it, because I'm in my sleep thinking, oh, I've got to text this person. Or in the morning, I'm texting about 12 different people to get them on task for the day, or to follow up with them, or where are you at? Are you at the project? Or are you meeting me at 6 a.m.? Like whatever it might take. So to answer the question as far as success, I guess I don't necessarily have an answer. I just start doing the actions every single morning and following through with them, and herding cats. What I've said it is before.
What it feels like.
Yeah, it is.
Without Fear of Her Future podcast is for women who are passionately pursuing financial freedom, using multiple streams of income and real estate to accomplish their goals. We are here to empower you to be brave, dream big, and design a life you love. I'm your co-host, Teresa Todd, founder of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and author of the book, Without Fear of Her Future.
And I'm Melissa Baker, a real estate investor and fitness coach specializing in turning properties from drab to fab. I'm here to help motivate and inspire you to build your dream life, because, girl, you deserve it. I'm thrilled to introduce you today to Danette Galvis, the fearless MrsFixIt, who brings over 28 years of real estate expertise to the table. From property management to custom home building, Danette's journey is a masterclass in navigating the diverse realms of the real estate industry. So buckle up as we dive deep into Danette's world, exploring her journey, strategies, and the invaluable lessons she's learned along the way. Without further ado, let's welcome Danette Galvis to the show. Danette.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me so much.
Well, we are excited to have you.
We are so glad to have you on the podcast. Not only are you the flipping coach here at the Women's Real Estate Investors Network, estimating repairs, determining ARVs, rehab budgets, design, vetting contractors, all the things. Tell us what it's been like for you as a coach, Danette.
Most recently, it has been super rewarding getting feedback from the ladies after I've been here probably 6 months. And so they're getting to know me, I'm getting to know them. And they have just been sharing with me how being on my calls have made them brave, or have made them pivot from what strategy they thought they might have been starting with, like wholesaling to start to get capital. And then all of a sudden a lady says, well, an opportunity presented itself that it became a flip. And because I know people, I chose to do a flip because of you. So it's been very encouraging that they are showing up on the calls and really taking in what lessons I'm teaching, or advice, or experiences that I've gone through, or other women on the calls have gone through. They're very awesome.
I love that. I love that.
Our students love you, Danette. You are making such an impact and helping these women to change their lives financially. But not only that, it's giving them confidence.
Yes.
It really changes who you are on the inside.
Yes, absolutely. I teach a lot of just the fact that we are dealing with a lot of men in this industry, not just as investors, the money part, but contractors, the tradesmen. There are a lot of men, and building confidence in their knowledge base. Or, I recently taught a series about learning the lingo, so that when you are introducing yourself to someone, that you can have a little bit of verbiage in your repertoire that shows you that you've done this before, and they can't take advantage of you. And if you do, don't try. Right? Like we have people in our pockets that we can refer back to, and the ladies have been very complimentary of that, because it does give them power to be out in the field.
Yeah, it's so great. You have so much experience that you bring to the table. So can you share with our audience a little bit about your background in real estate, property management, custom home building, and how that is shaping your approach to flipping homes?
Yes. I didn't put the whole journey together until joining the network, that I do have the knowledge base that has been instilled in me since I was 21 years old. I got my real estate license at 21 years old, and I'm about to turn 50. Oh, well, I'll just say it on the podcast.
Well, nobody
But-
would know that.
No.
You look amazing.
Thank you. But going into property management first in my early 20s, that led into relocation services, which requires a real estate license. At the time I was married, my ex-husband was a home builder, custom home builder, and a real estate broker. So it was in our blood. That's what we did on the weekends for fun, was home tours or go to open houses, or, just being in it. You learn so much. And so that led me to just be in real estate as an agent. A couple of years later, I ended up being single for a few years and then remarrying and having a baby. And being in real estate allowed me to do the flexibility of have that schedule. So I've been a listing agent, a seller's agent, a buyer's agent, and having raised my daughter, but just getting back into, I guess it's been just under 2 years of being in the network. I didn't really realize, I didn't know what I didn't know in the real estate strategies, because they don't teach this stuff in real estate school. So it's a whole nother mindset shift to be able to be the investor, to be the general contractor, to, use all of these tools differently, but yet I also have the real estate education as well.
Yeah, I love it. As our listeners are listening, I want to just say to them, Danette's vast experience that's what made her an amazing coach.
Yes.
And we knew that really soon. But I want you to know that you do not have to be a realtor, a
Right.
licensed realtor.
Right.
You do not have to be a general contractor
Right.
to do all the things. That's why we have coaching
Right.
coaches like Danette that can teach you all the things. All you have to do is learn the strategies and begin
Yes.
investing. And that's what's so beautiful about all of this.
Yes. It helps to know the process after getting things under contract. Title company, how to communicate, what to expect. That helps because I can help teach the ladies this piece as well, along with our
Absolutely.
other coach, Erica. It also just helps to add a little bit more value to it.
I agree. So because of your extensive background and you do act as a general contractor on your active deals,
Mhm.
what are some of the key strategies that you employ to ensure successful and profitable outcomes in your real estate projects?
That's an interesting question, because you can try all day long, but it is managing. I like to call it an event. If you are an event planner, or if you are, even just being a mom or a wife or a woman, we are multitasking by nature. And so being a general contractor is really managing a project, managing an event, multitasking at its finest. And as far as success, I think I eat, breathe, and sleep it, because I'm in my sleep thinking, oh, I've got to text this person. Or in the morning, I'm texting about 12 different people to get them on task for the day, or to follow up with them, or where are you at? Are you at the project? Or are you meeting me at 6 a.m.? Like whatever it might take. So to answer the question as far as success, I guess I don't necessarily have an answer. I just start doing the actions every single morning and following through with them, and herding cats is what I've said it is before.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
All right. So, Danette, when it comes to flipping homes, how do you approach the design and construction process to maximize both the appeal of the home and the resale value?
Yes, great question. I let the house speak to me. To give an answer, I've just been restoring a home that is not historic, but in a conservation district, but it's an older home built in the early 1900s. So there's some stained glass windows in the home. There are a couple of features that are so unique to the home, and not just this home, but even homes I've done before. I let the home speak to me with what it needs to be restored. You don't always have to replace tile floors if they're in great condition. You don't always have to do things that are gutting the house. You can just restore. And so with this project of the conservation in the conservation district, the colors of the stained glass windows have really been an inspiration to bring it into the home, with the tile selections, with restoring the hardwood floors that have a unique design versus replacing them completely. Paint choices, really just bringing the home back to life and restoring the health of the home.
I love that.
Nice,
I
yeah.
love that, because when flipping, you have to make two choices. We always have a budget We want to do as much as we can to make this house, perfect within the budget. So sometimes we can't always do all the things that we want to do. If we just had, we could do anything. But I think what makes a good investor is knowing what to do and what to leave alone.
Yes.
What are the most important things that you can do and stay within the budget, which again is one of the things that you teach that is invaluable.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope our listeners heard what you just said about leaving some of the things that are there. If they're in good condition, you don't have to, because a lot of flippers go in and they want to just replace everything and make it brand new so that it looks like a new home. And that's not what you did.
No, and they say there's actually statistics on when you remodel a kitchen, you're going to get 97% of your investment back, because that creates the value of what people are looking for when they're buying a home. Same with the master bathroom or primary bathroom, you're going to get 95% of your investment back. With hardwood floors, instead of sanding them, staining them, I simply just cleaned them, added a new coat of stain and a new coat of polyurethane. And that was no sanding, no mess, and a lot less expensive.
Yeah. I love it. That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, being one of our RealEstate coaches, what aspects of flipping homes do you find the most challenging for individuals? And then how do you guide them through those challenges when you're talking to students?
Yes. The biggest challenge is contractors or subcontractors no-showing you, ghosting you, not responding to your texts. And you don't even know why, but it happens.
Yes,
you have to go into this. Yes, you're building a relationship with a contractor brand new when you start a project, but you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what's happening outside of their work hours, and you respect that, but you treat them with respect and you pay them on time. They're going to do their best to continue working for you. But if for some reason they don't, have multiple contractors in your phone. I've been saying Rolodex a lot lately, and that just kind of dates me, but you have multiple plumbers in your phone. You have multiple, when you start to meet these tradesmen, you put them in your phone for tile install, for painters, for general contractors in general, having multiple ones in your phone, because you might have to replace them and be more active than you imagine. That's why I became the general contractor on most of my deals. Now I want to scale up and not be general contractor all the time, but for right now, this is what's working best for me.
Absolutely. I love it.
All right, Danette, because we're friends, I know that you're open to talking about your journey of recovery from alcohol addiction. So I want to shift gears here, and I want you to talk about how overcoming that personal challenge has influenced your resilience and your success in your real estate career.
Yes. I was thinking about that driving up here today. It's fascinating to me because we talk about the journey in like real estate or your career in any regard. I didn't realize or see until joining this network and really having the mindset shifts that I've had for business and where I'm supposed to be serving in life until just recently. In my sobriety journey, you sit there for I've been sober 8 years. So half of my daughter's life is kind of how I say it. I got sober when she was 8. She's now 16. So you think about the trajectory of how it's changed, let's say, her life as our family dynamics, and then also just my life of being able to go into this season of being an investor with more confidence than I ever had before. Because it's not so much that I couldn't do it, it was the struggles that stopped me as well. I knew that I could do it, but it's those lies, the enemy inside me that just didn't want me to progress, because what I am moving into in 2024 is exactly what he doesn't want me to do. So now that I can be aware of who my enemy is truly in ways, it has given me such strength and power and wisdom that I am finally on this right track again at the ripe old age of 50 coming up. It doesn't matter in his kingdom. It doesn't matter. It just matters that now I have the visual of where I'm heading.
Right. Takes us back to another conversation where, the things of our past, they come back and the Lord uses them in such powerful ways as we're building our future, and he's building our future and using us. Right. So with that, I know that your recovery journey, and along with your real estate journey, has inspired some really big dreams and big goals for you. And so I'd love for you to just tell our listeners kind of what 2024 has in store for Danette.
Yeah. And this is another thing. knew until just recently that these things were coming about for me. But being in the network, Teresa, you always encourage women to be brave, be bold, and talk about, writing a book or bringing your story to the forefront so that it can reach the masses based on what the Lord's plan is for it. So I am in the process of writing a book about my story, but kind of merging the two, like you mentioned, the real estate and the recovery. So
Mention the possible name for your book.
well, I've been pondering that too. Kingdom Rehab or Kingdom Rehab Her.
Mm-hmm.
That was
I
a
love
new
it.
one.
I think we have to explain. So rehab meaning
Yes.
it's got the double meaning.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're rehabbing homes, but
Yes.
you also did, addiction rehab.
Yes. I
And
went
so,
to recovery for 60
nice.
days into rehab, the hospital portion, to get sober. And after that, actually, it was a 30-day medical rehab. But after that, I went into what's called sober living. They used to be called halfway houses, but I think there's a better name called sober living because it is another period of time where you have more success, let me just say, a higher success rate of staying sober the longer you stay in treatment. That's also a little factoid for you. 30 days, you have a higher chance of, like 90% chance of relapsing. Adding 30 days at a time, it gives you a higher,
Wow.
a better percentage, if that's coming out right, of staying sober.
Yeah.
And it has worked for me. I am a one and done. Rehab was an eye-opening experience. I didn't know what I didn't know in regards to what it was doing to my physical body and my brain and my internals, organs. And I knew I didn't want to die that way.
Yeah.
And so the Lord brought me out of that, even though there's a lot of guilt and shame in that type of life. But now I'm not ashamed of it. I feel like I talk about it all the time. I'm a broken record, and I'll share it just because it's that one person that it might help.
Absolutely.
And might give them, if they can see me in the journey I've been able to go through and still going through, I hope that it will give them the inspiration to, just give it a day, because it's just one day at a time.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And so that's what we see inside the network are so many women that come in. They all have a backstory like you. It's something.
Yes.
We all have some kind of a history, but they take this newfound knowledge accompanied with their whole life and what God's already done in them and what education they've already had or what they've been through. And it's just amazing to see what women are doing and how it's truly making an impact in the world.
Well, I just have to say it's because you're spearheading that. I would have never have thought of opening up my own sober living house as my give back, because I remember you specifically saying, not just are you empowering women to write a book or put their story on paper to leave their legacy, you're talking about what's your give back going to be when you get to that place in your journey of real estate portfolio. Like when you build that income a little bit, where is it now that you're going to give back to the world? What's your charity? What's your whatever it might be? Ministry.
I love it. I just you're what it's reminding me of, and what I had said at that time. Help me, both of y'all, to quote the scripture. But it's first of all, it's proof that there were women real estate investors all the way back in the Old Testament.
Yes,
where it says she considers a field and buys it. She considers a field and buys it, which makes me laugh because if she's considering, I think she knew the golden formula.
That's right.
Right.
And she ran her numbers and she considered it. And so she's like, oh, this is a deal. I'm going to buy it.
Yes.
And then we know that she was successful because the next part of that verse says, with her earnings, she planted a garden. Or some translations say she planted a vineyard. And a garden and vineyard both represent life, like either like food or vegetables from a garden, or even if it's a flower garden, that's life and beauty. And so with her earnings, so she bought this property and then she made money on it. She plants a vineyard. She plants something that gives back life.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're doing with sober living. And so
may I add to that? So not only did she plant a garden, but it is a gift from God, because seeds are a gift from God. I love gardening. COVID changed that in me. But I became fascinated with gardening, and just this one little seed and what it does when you plant it, how it produces, and then the flower becomes the fruit. So it's beautiful first, then it gives you nourishment.
Yeah.
And then inside that, let's say squash, are more seeds.
Yeah.
So it just continues to give back
Oh,
forever
so
and ever and
good.
ever and ever.
So good. So I just want to take this minute to speak to our listeners for a second. So if you're listening to this, I mean, what's on the inside of you? Think about your past, your history, and the good and the bad.
Yeah.
It's not just all the good, but it's some of the trauma and the crisis that you've been through. God will use that for good. And so I want to encourage all ladies. I mean, listen, we're starting a brand new year, and anything is possible. My slogan for 2024 is expect more in 2024. But yeah, and so that's exactly what I just love everything that you stand for. Again, I love that you are coaching our students because not only are you coaching them in estimating repairs and vetting contractors and all the things that you have to know to be a successful flipper, but you're also inspiring this hope and this the goals and the dreams and confidence and all the things. So again, I can't thank you enough for what you do for our RealEstate students.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's been life-changing. It's awesome. Thank you.
I love that. And I know we've got some listeners out there who are listening to this story and have that little dream in the back of their mind that they just
maybe I can do it.
Yeah, that you're giving them some hope.
Even if it's sobriety, if you just need to put the wine glass down, you can do it.
Ooh, so good.
Such a great story. Such a good. Lastly, Danette, tell us how our listeners can connect with you online and what's next for you.
Well, I am on Instagram. I haven't been a super social media person, but I am Danette Galvis on Instagram and also on Facebook. And you can connect through the RealEstate network. And what's next for me is just the focus on completing the book. There's been challenges along the way of getting the work done, and then finding my first sober living house.
Awesome.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
I look forward to hearing about that.
Yes. I'll be back.
Yes. And I want to say that if you want to be coached by Danette and our other fabulous coaches, then you need to check out the Women's Real Estate Investors Network.
Yes.
So subscribe now to the Without Fear of Her Future podcast for new episode alerts. Imagine waking up excited each morning, knowing that your family is financially secure. Everyday women like you are making life-changing profits through real estate. So join our masterclass for a life-altering transformation that pays for generations.
Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Women's Real Estate Investors Network and Teresa Todd, I'm Melissa Baker, encouraging you to be brave and dream big.